Hey Barry.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me here.
Woo, good. How are
I
you?
got my swag.
SC ranking. Excellent, excellent. All right, so I know we're a little bit over time. So much is happening in search right now. So many algorithm updates. Definitely want to make the most of this presentation. Barry, you're a contributing editor to Search Engine Journal. I get my news from you first.
Actually, Search Engine Land
Search
on the
Engine
Search Engine
Land. Search Engine
Roundtable. Yeah.
Land. Sorry. Why don't you briefly introduce yourself if people don't already know you?
Yeah, I'm one of the more well-known content spammers in the SEO space. That's a joke. I write a lot of content about SEO topics. I've been writing about search engine topics, Google, you name it. Mostly on the organic side, but also on the paid side for almost 19 years. Next week will be my 19th year anniversary of writing about search. I look older than I am, but I've been, yeah. So I know a lot about the history of Google, what direction they're going, how they've been going there. I recently interviewed the VP of Google Search, who's in charge of all core rankings, HJ. And I have a lot of historical knowledge and history and insight into where Google's going in terms of that. I also have a web development company based in New York. Um, and, you guys are a great company, and I'm happy to be a part of this event.
Cool. So one of my questions, how do you get the news? It seems like you have an army of people that, they see something on Google and they send you the information and then you write about it and it gets to millions of people.
How do I get the news? So there's multiple ways. Some people in the SEO search community actually ping me on social media, Twitter. I'm very, very active on Twitter. At my handles at Rusty Brick. So if you see something, definitely let me know. Most of the time, I find stuff by searching and scrounging around through the SEO forums, search community forums, both on old-fashioned forums like Webmaster World, so local search forums, as well as very active on Twitter and other social media platforms, including the new Mastodon. I don't pronounce it. I'm really I'm looking everywhere, including the forums and you name it, everywhere. Some people email me stuff, but the majority of the stuff is me looking through different social media channels, finding new stuff, and keeping on top of stuff.
Awesome. Let's dive into it. So, as you're probably aware, Google just published a guide to Google search ranking systems. Google is becoming more and more forthcoming with information about algorithm updates, etc., etc. Do you quickly, if you don't mind, want to summarize that guide? Systems that are no longer active, systems that are incorporated now into other systems. Just give us the rundown real quick, please.
Yeah. So Google just recently, published a new document, and I think it was Danny Sullivan's doing with the help of Google's people. And Google, ever since Danny Sullivan got involved in Google Search, he's been trying to make things more transparent. So it's great to have him there and to make things more transparent. Some of the things that Google documented that are no longer in use or been incorporated in other algorithms is the Hummingbird algorithm, the mobile-friendly ranking system, page speed, Panda, Penguin, and the secure sites. Most of those things either have been evolved in the core ranking system, like Panda and Penguin. Mobile friendliness, page speed, and secure site have been incorporated in the page experience update. So there's all been incorporated into different elements. I think Hummingbird, I'm not sure if it was incorporated anywhere else, but it's probably been replaced by something else. But yeah, that's a quick recap of what's been replaced by Google or incorporated by Google in the core out in the search ranking system.
Okay, cool. And I spoke about this in my presentation. So our own website got hit by the early Google, the spam update. I think it was June 30th, 2021. Traffic dropped by 80%. I didn't think we were spammers. Can you explain, how does Google define spam? I mean, definitely we were not spammers, but we had a ton of old content that, I put up like 12 years ago. What is the spam update?
I guess the definition of anything spam in Google's mind is anything done specifically to kind of uh, basically manipulate Google search results. So spam would be done with the intent of trying to manipulate Google search results. It could be generating links, paying for links. It could be writing content in a certain way where you're trying to build doorway pages, or even things like I'm generating thousands and thousands of pages trying to target certain keywords but don't have enough unique content on that page. It's just you're generating the content only to rank in search. Google recently released the helpful content update, which is more about Google trying to say, hey, this content's written for humans by humans in a helpful way. But spam is really more, if you look at the spam guidelines, they're really more targeted towards techniques used by not just SEOs, but anybody to go ahead and try to manipulate Google search results in any way. And there's multiple ways that SEOs could do that. And I'm surprised you were hit by the spam update. There's always, if you weren't spamming Google, not doing that. But there are always, I guess, outliers. There are always cases of certain sites getting hit by something as false positives when they really should not have been hit. So hopefully you recovered from that without doing much effort. I don't know what you have to do to recover, but hopefully you recovered.
We actually completely redid the website. We killed, I would say, 80% of our content, which I have to say was terrible. I wrote it like way back and was still up there. So we did recover, and we after Google launched, I forget the exact date, but man, we saw an increase back to the traffic that we used to have when we got hit. Okay, so you mentioned the helpful content update. Google has now, they actually posted very strict, I call them guidelines. Say if you publish content to your website, we recommend follow these guidelines, right? Like if you were to follow all of these guidelines, I mean, every piece of content on the web would be the best possible piece of content on the web. My question to you, and that ties then into questions that are being posted here by our audience, like how realistically, how good has the content have to be? Like we cannot always publish the ultimate, piece to everything. Like, is it okay to sometimes publish just a blog post that's not that in-depth?
Yeah, it's not about being helpful is not about length or how deep it is or whatever. Obviously, if you're writing something called the ultimate guide to whatever, that piece of content has to be incredibly thorough and deep. But if you're just writing something about a specific little niche topic on a niche topic that's very specific, like if I'm writing about Google did an update to the helpful content update, I don't have to cover the whole entire everything around the helpful content. I can just talk about that update. It all depends on the user and if that content is satisfying what the user expects from that page. So it could be short content. It could be a few paragraphs. It doesn't have to be the most detailed piece of content. But at the same time, if you're writing a piece of content that you want to rank for a very competitive keyword, you're probably going to have to look at the other pieces of content on the web and say, why are those ranking? How do I rank above them? And usually it means you have to do something better. Google's purpose behind the helpful content update was for us writers to actually, or publishers or whatever, to write better content for the web. Their goal is not just to provide better search results, but to encourage us to actually write better content. I had an interview with Google's HJ Kim just a few weeks ago at XMX Next, or just a week ago, and he basically said that. He said, we don't just write these algorithms to, make better search results, better quality search results, and better, rankings. Obviously, that's one of the aspects of it, but it's also to go ahead and encourage people to do better on the web. That came with the HTTPS update. That happened with mobile friendly. That happened with any of these core ranking algorithms, or just to kind of encourage people to write better content, to make a better web, so that Google has better content to rank.
Yeah.
It's like a big circle.
Completely agree. So that takes me to AI and content writing. So I spoke about this in my presentation, how we now look at every process in our SEO methodology. How can we use AI to basically assist that process, right? So I think a lot of writers out there, they are concerned that they're going to be replaced by AI. At least here at my shop, Boulder SEO Marketing, we are on a mission to hire as many writers, really good writers, as we can, because AI writing is not there, and I don't think it'll be there for a long time. What do you see in the SEO world out there?
Right. So it depends who you ask. If you ask an AI writing company, they say it's there. It does well. If you ask somebody who's not into AI, it doesn't. I mean, ultimately, you want to make sure the content is something that the user wants to get. It has to be better. Now, could you use AI tools to assist with that? Maybe today, yes, probably. There are probably tools that can help make me or you a better writer. It doesn't mean that it's writing the content from scratch. Some people say, I'm going to go ahead and generate pages using AI and then tweak it, but with a human. It's probably the other way. But today, you probably want to go the other way around. You probably want to have somebody write the content from scratch and then have the AI tools maybe assist them, maybe bring in supplemental information that they can say, oh, wait, this is a good piece of information I should include. Maybe they drag it in and then tweak it. But at the same time, you probably want to have the human writing the content for the human, and then maybe have AI features, doesn't have to be whatever you want to call it, machine learning features or other features like just regular algorithms trying to give you supplemental information that might be useful for the article. So if you're writing about the helpful content update, maybe that tool looks for other things that people said about the helpful content update on social media or on other areas and lets you quickly go ahead and find that so that it can assist you with your content of the piece of content you're writing. But at the same time, I agree with you today. Most AI stuff out there is not up to par in terms of just being able to generate content that Google wants to rank. Maybe you could go get ahead and get around it for certain types of queries, and it might rank today. But in the future, Google HA was clear. I mean, from Google's HA, it was very clear. It's like he doesn't want that content to rank. He wants to have the most useful content, and he doesn't want people just generating content by using machines or algorithms. I know John Mueller has always said in the past, like, yeah, it's possible to see AI doing all that work for you and being better than a human. But right now, we're not at that place.
Exactly. I mean, if you think about it, I'm Swiss, I'm not a native English speaker, so I have to use Grammarly, right, to correct my things. This is how I think we use AI right now in the content creation space, but I think we're going to see massive improvements, as AI improves in the content writing space. Let me see. On the way, question from Matthew. On the way to the search transformation, new SERP features are emerging like never before. Completely agree. And you report on them. Which of them do you consider to be the most important game changers? Which ones are still missing for you, SERP features?
Wow, that's a good question. Yeah. There's so many search features. I probably cover at least 2 a day. And then probably like 15 people or 25 people every day ask me, is this new? Honestly, right now, it's the shopping stuff. It's the product results. You see a lot of that for many queries. When you do a search, you're just inundated with it looks like you're going to a e-commerce site and scrolling through a category page. That's what Google's pushing big time. And then the supplemental stuff around that, videos around products, images around products, short videos. So I think right now, if there's anything, especially because it's right before the holiday shopping season, products is where Google's all about, making sure they get your data from Search Console into Merchant Center, the way the products are listing, the product reviews update. It's all product focused. I mean, 2022 was the year of products when it comes to Google search, in my opinion. So I think that's the biggest thing right now.
Well, on that note, and again, you reported on that, Google Search Console, Google just added the shopping tabs listing feature in Search Console. Can you summarize what this is all about?
So to me, it's more about those who have Google Search Console might not have Merchant Center, and it's just a very quick way for Google to say, hey, you have Google Search Console. This is a very quick way to actually go ahead and push your structured data schema directly into Merchant Center. So it's a much streamlined process. So you can get the data into Merchant Center. It's just a way of Google getting more product data so they can compete with Amazon and other e-commerce platforms.
Cool. The product reviews update, that was a big one. I think Google is cracking down on fake reviews. I mean, a lot of people abused reviews, right? Where do you see that going? So the way I see it, I think there's a new category created in the SEO space. There's going to be eventually professional product reviewers, right? That are legit, that somehow you're going to have to compensate them. What do you envision happening with the product reviews update?
So there's a lot of confusion around the product reviews update. It's not about reviews being fake or having reviews on product listings. It has nothing to do with reviews on products or on services. It's about how a reviewer reviews a product. So you get the new iPhone, you post a review about it. You have hundreds of websites, thousands of websites posting reviews about the new iPhone. You have tons of people on the videos doing videos of review iPhones. There's so much content out there about the new iPhone. Which one should Google rank? And Google has all these criteria around what's the most helpful review out there. So Google has a whole spec around these are the things you should write. And sure, Google wants you to be able to not just say, here's a new iPhone, these are the specs, this is how much it weighs, this is how fast the processor is, this is the camera, but also to have the phone in your hand, compare it to other phones, compare it to Samsung, and really do a detailed review as a user would care about that device, about that device or that product you're reviewing. So it's really focused around all this garbage content that people generate using merchant manufacturer data. And we're trying to rank the best stuff above that. So MKMHB, all these YouTubers really do a really good job. The unboxing guy, there's so much good stuff out there around reviews, and now these affiliate sites that are generating these really low quality, using AI to generate like specs and stuff. That stuff is not going to rank so well in the future. It's really about generating that really great content, and that's Google's goal around it.
Cool. Before I'm going to ask you what you think was the most game-changing Google search ranking update of 2022, asked by Roberta, I'd love for you to quickly explain us. So Google, the Panda algorithm update evolved into the Cody update. What's that? That's a brand new word I've never heard.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was talking to HJ, and he kept mentioning this name, Cody. I'm like, is he misspeaking? I've never heard of this thing. And then I had to stop. I'm like, could you just stop and just tell me what Cody is? And he's like, oh, you didn't know about that? Basically, Panda at some point, the code was so much changed and it was replaced by another version of Panda, which evolved and where they're calling it to Cody, another black and white animal. Either way, both those things are not used anymore. They're built into the core ranking algorithm. So it's kind of just like a fun historical fact. But it's just interesting to hear him say that, like we knew that was happening. That's one of the benefits of getting something like that on the channel. It's just something so much fun to listen to him about that.
I know. So in your opinion, which one was the most game-changing algorithm update this year?
So I thought it would be the helpful content update, and it wasn't. I was really surprised, and I think that's going to be game-changing in maybe the next version. So I kind of want to put that in my back pocket, saying the helpful content update is going to be a big one next time it goes. And the product reviews updates were pretty significant. So it's hard to say specifically which one was the biggest. I mean, sometimes these unconfirmed updates are pretty big, but I'm going to say the helpful content update is going to be a game changer. It's just not there yet. And I would say if we have another one by the end of the year, I think that is going to be like the algorithm that everybody's like, the next Florida, the next Panda, the next Penguin will be the helpful content update. I just don't think it happened in a big way yet. And I think it will happen next time it happens. So I'm going to be predictive and say it's going to be in the future, the helpful content update.
Awesome. Why don't we take a couple more questions? We're running out of time, sadly, here. So with more than 60% of TikTok users being Gen Z, younger users are now turning to TikTok and similar platforms instead of Google for discovery purposes. And I think even Google's CEO talked about that, right, not too long ago. How do you think this will change the way marketers promote products? Can TikTok be used to get an SEO advantage?
So there's a lot of questions there. So you do see Google kind of doing a lot more videos, shorts, and stuff in the search results because the user who's searching for certain types of queries is the kind of user that goes to TikTok and watches advice from TikTok. I don't know if you've ever been on TikTok and listened to SEO advice on TikTok. It's horrible. So it's pretty bad. I don't know what the advice on anything else in terms of TikTok advice is there, but it's out there, and that's what the younger generation consumes. They like video, short form content. And I think Google has, tried different things with different types of shorts in the search results. Can TikTok be used to get an SEO advantage? I mean, it depends how you look at it in terms of publicity and generating traffic to your website to then generate potentially links in the long run. Yes, but there is no direct impact with TikTok and an SEO advantage outside of just Google ranking TikTok videos in search, or maybe getting some PR or some just general traffic to your website that could then translate to future mentions and links to your website. So I wouldn't think SEO is the next, TikTok's the next SEO thing that people are going to spam to generate traffic.
Talking about shorts, and I heard you talk about this before, when do you think Google will kill web stories? Or how long will web stories be around?
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they'll probably kill it eventually. AMP is almost dead. Web stories is still pretty powerful. You still see them here and there pop up, and they can generate so much traffic. I don't know if you ever experimented with them. Even today, you can pop a web story up on your site, and if you haven't tried it, try it, because I would say if you try it 10 times, one might generate crazy traffic. Will that traffic convert? Probably not. But that stuff really kind of climbs really quickly in the Google Discover results. So if you have any Discover visibility doing a web story, or an AMP story, whatever you want to call it these days, a visual story, those could actually generate a tremendous amount of traffic, and you can repurpose a lot of your TikTok stuff or your Instagram stuff in a web story format. So I wouldn't sell that out, because even today they are doing very, very well, especially Google Discover.
Cool, cool. All right, one piece last of advice. Anything anybody should follow before we wrap it up here?
In terms of SEO advice, it's kind of cringy to say, but
like, what do you see in terms of algorithm updates in 2023?
I mean, the trend, even for the past 20 years, has been always about doing better than everybody else and making sure you make your users happy. Back 20 years ago, you were able to spam and jam it. Today, you really need to do something that's above and beyond. Easier said than done, but really, if you're going to go ahead and do something, make sure you're doing it in a way that's above and beyond your competitors, and that really, really help your users who are reading that content or using that tool or service that you're providing.
Awesome. Barry, thank you. This was short and sweet, but thank you so much on behalf of SE Ranking, myself as well. Hopefully we'll get to talk again sometime soon.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for your time. Make sure our attendees follow Barry Schwartz. Yeah, you get the latest and greatest as it happens. Cool. Barry, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, you too. Bye.